All right, everybody. We're sitting here talking to John Timu. How's it going for you, John?
Good, man. Everything's going good. How you guys doing?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Well, we're in North Carolina, so it's pretty cold out here today.
Oh man, I'm
it's,
on the west.
Where you? And you said you're in Arizona right now, right?
Yeah, so it's a little warm out here, but we spoiled on the west coast.
Yeah, I've been out to Arizona a few times. It's always warm the times I've been there.
Lucky you
Yeah,
today. Well,
yeah, for real, man.
man. So for people that maybe don't know, John Timu, former. Are you still with the Bears?
Nah,
Okay, so yeah, played football with the Bears. Well, what did you play football in high school? Have you always been a linebacker? So how did that kind of get started?
no, man. Actually, I was a quarterback in high school. Uh, I actually started as a receiver, like freshman year, and then became a quarterback just based off ability. I guess I was more athletic than everybody else, but was able to just play the position and be poised at the same time. But I didn't like it at all. But it was kind of what was best for the team, and then situational safety. Um, but then I think my senior year I tore. Yeah, it's actually my senior year, second game of the season, tore my ACL and missed out on the whole season. And I was, I think, like 185 pounds, 195 at the most. And after I tore my ACL, it took a while to kind of get surgery. I didn't know what was going on. And so I kind of put on weight naturally, just sitting around, not doing nothing, just because I was uninformed about surgery, the ACL, first time ever having a significant injury like that. So I wasn't really working out and naturally put on the weight. And I think it was like 230 before taking a official trip to University of Washington. And I actually took another one. And then it was kind of, man, hey, go ahead and hang out with the safeties and kind of, chill around those guys. And then, like, hey, man, go to the linebacker meetings and see how that go. And next year, and that was it from there, man. Just became a linebacker since then.
And were you getting like a lot of offers in high school?
I mean, I had a few off the top of my head: Hawaii, San Jose State, Oregon. I mean, UW obviously being one. There were a few. It might have been a few others, but I know that some of those lost interest after the injury, and fortunate for me, UW stuck with it.
And what year did you say you tore your ACL?
2010.
Okay. Was that like your senior? Was that your junior year or?
That was my senior year.
Okay, senior year. Dang, man.
Yeah.
Like the worst year
Like,
possible it could have happened. Oh man.
yeah, sports wise, I guess.
Yeah, for the sports view, man, that's terrible. Well, did you like playing
Yeah.
quarterback, or do you now that you played linebacker? Did you like it more? Which position do you prefer?
No, I don't. Honestly, I don't know. It was. I'd rather play anything else but quarterback. I don't know. It was some. It was just the. I don't know. I just wasn't big on. Everybody the spotlight on me. Not that it made a big difference when we played in big games, because nothing really mattered. It was everything was. It was always about the team, but I don't know. I just didn't like the position, I guess.
Well, transitioning from uh, high school to college is a most of the guys we talk to, anyways. Some of them aren't really phased by it, but most of them say it's a pretty big change as far as the lifestyle and everything that kind of goes on. How you're just dedicating so much of your time now to actually football. Was that the same thing in your situation?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Like the transition from high school to college.
Yeah.
Is that most of the guys we talk to, it's a pretty big, it's like a shell shock because you focus so much on football. Is that the same case in your scenario?
I don't even think that was the biggest case for me. Honestly, the biggest thing was actually just going to college. Period, man. It wasn't really emphasized where I was at. You know what I mean? Especially growing up. I mean, my parents would always say, "Go to school, go to college, yada yada." But I've never actually seen it in my household, like somebody actually going to college. Uh, the whole college experience of just furthering their education, furthering their sports abilities in a whole new era or a whole new like venue, especially something bigger than college. So um, going to Utah, I was more like homesick, um, felt lost a little bit just because I guess the guidance, the experience that I could live through somebody else wasn't there, and so I had to learn everything by myself. So yeah, obviously the lifestyle was different. You're kind of on your own. Obviously, I was very sheltered just because, I mean, everything was, you're a kid, everything's made for you, and your parents are always there, and then you go to college, and it's like, all right, now you got to learn how to budget. You got to learn how to talk to people that look completely different. Don't even know where your city is located. Like this, there's a whole new world out there that I was exposed to that I felt like was kind of overwhelming for 18-year-old kid out of Long Beach who didn't really see much.
Yeah, sounds like it. What was your major?
Majoring in American Ethnic Studies and Anthropology.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, man, it's I kind of wanted to go with engineering. Just oh, it was just something I thought about, and then being an athlete in college, it's kind of tough to ever even having like a major that you really want. There's always limits to what you want. There's those people that say, you get a free education and yada yada, but yeah, your time schedule is so limited that it's like playing another sport if you were to select a major like such. And so it's almost like a pick and choose of what you want to, kind of just stand by going forward for your future.
Yeah, you can't be wanting to be a brain surgeon and playing football.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to limit anybody to say you can do it, can't do it, because you can do it. It's just
You can be busy.
for us. Yeah, you're gonna be very, very busy. It's very overwhelming. Can be stressful, and so that's kind of what the thing that you deal with.
Did you have hopes of going to the league whenever you were playing at college?
No, man. The idea, I mean, the idea of playing in the league was always, intriguing. It was always cool. I would never say it was a dream. I just enjoyed being around, like, my teammates. It was cool being around with the guys and working out and, like, just working towards the goal of being a great team, winning championships, just learning different cultures, different families, how they operate. Just figuring out our lives through other people as well. And so I was more enjoyed by that, and just lived in the moment as such. So I never really thought about playing in the league until it actually like came up. Just take it day by day. It was like, oh shoot, I graduated or my season's over with. Now I gotta prep for pro day and hopefully get a chance. But I was never stressed out about it, I guess.
When did you kind of know that you were probably going to go? Like, did you just get a call from the Bears or like once you went to pro day or something like that?
Yeah. I mean, guys would always tell me that you can get a shot. You're gonna get a shot in the NFL, because how smart you are, because the football knowledge that you possess, and the thing that you emphasize. Like you're gonna get a shot. So I was like, hey, might as well let's see what happens. And so went through pro day. Um, I felt good about it. And it kind of just fell in. All the pieces kind of fell together for me during that year that I came out. There were 3 first-round draft picks, and um, all of them were on defense. And so the hype around UW's defense was, it was there. And for a guy like me who kind of felt, I wasn't one of those guys who's with the hype, but I was kind of going along with it with, the fact that scouts were able to be there for our pro day. I kind of just see that. And so because of those guys, I was exposed to a lot of different scouts, and doing the workout, I was able to, try to prove that I could move a little bit in pro day. I was kind of hoping that they could just meet me one on one and just talk football, so I can, kind of just blow their minds and go from there. So draft day came along. Obviously, I knew my name was going to be called. I was just hoping I can get a shot free agency. And before the draft was over, it was actually like the sixth round, seventh round. The Bears ran out of picks, and the Saints called me. I believe the Buccaneers called, and the Bears. And at that time, the Bears had the best. It was the best opportunity to go there.
Do you remember? Do you remember who called you?
Yeah, I was about to just ask that.
What was that?
Do you remember who called you? Like whenever you got a call from somebody at the facility?
You talking about from East Team?
Just I was just talking about the Bears.
Was it like their GM or something?
Yeah.
Oh, it was their linebackers coach.
Okay.
Position. Yeah, he called me and just broke it down, saying they don't have no starters from the year prior returning. They didn't draft any linebackers.
And this was like 2014 or 2015?
2015.
Okay, so they had just like, I think Brian Urlacher had just left, and like Lance Briggs I think left.
Yeah, those guys didn't come. DJ Williams wasn't there.
Oh, okay, yeah, they needed somebody. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, so I mean, they had Shea McClellan, they had Christian Jones. Both were new to the position at the ILB. They were playing outside linebacker. Shea was a first round DN that the Bears drafted, converted to ILB, and then Christian Jones was an OLB, playing ILB for the first time. And then, lucky for me, I went in with the Bears into rookie minicamp, and we ran the exact same system. So I was like, man, I was ahead of the game as far as the knowledge. So I was like, man, I feel like this is it. You know,
were they doing like a 4-3 or 3-4?
It was 3-4, 3-4 base, and then 4-3 nickel, as everybody do.
And you were going to be like the inside linebacker? Or
Yeah.
I know you started a few games.
Yeah, man, I was inside backer. I started a few games. I made the team initially my rookie year. I didn't do too well on special teams. Ended up getting cut, put on practice squad, and then towards the end of the year, my rookie year, the last 3 games, we wasn't making a team, we wasn't making the playoffs. Guys were injured, and then they were kind of already looking into next year. So the last 3 games became preseason all over again. So they gave me a shot, man, to start, and that was pretty cool, man. It felt good, nervous, but I was ready.
Who was your first game against whenever you started?
First game was Minnesota, man. Super cold.
Oh, my God.
All right, we were watching that last night. We saw you tackling Adrian Peterson a few times.
Yeah, man. I studied my ass off like never before, man. I've always been a big fan of, the preparation. That's the biggest key for linebackers is knowing where you got to be. Obviously, you got to do it all. You got to change direction, you got to tackle, you got to rush the pass and all that. But if you know what's about to happen, man, that makes the game of football a lot easier. That's for all positions.
Yeah.
You're like the quarterback of the defense and middle linebacker too, especially when you're calling plays too. Like I think you were calling plays for a few games, right?
Yeah, man. And a quarterback of the defense is not really just for linebackers. Obviously, that's the big role of it, but that's anybody who can study the game of football, you know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, it just helps you play faster. There's a level of ease. I was nervous because I've never started a game, but I was ready, man. I was ready for that game. So we played Minnesota, Adrian Peterson, Hall of Fame running back. And I'm like, dang, let's go, man. Let's get it.
It was at Chicago, right?
No, this is in Minnesota.
Oh, so you're at their place. First game ever.
Jeez.
This was actually, it was actually at the University of Minnesota because their whole stadium collapsed. So we were playing there. I can't remember how cold it was, but it was cold.
It was Minnesota. We know it was cold.
They normally play in that dome too, so they probably weren't liking it much either.
Yeah, man, it was rough. It was at the end of the season. I had about 2-3 shirts on. I mean, guys had like swimsuits under their whole gear. It was crazy, man. I was like, dude, I don't know how we gonna get through this one, but damn, I ain't never played in this kind of cold.
Whenever you get out there and you're playing in weather like that, I've always wondered. I mean, is it just so much going on that there's times where you're not even thinking about it, or are you constantly thinking about it, like how cold it is? Like whenever you hit somebody, I mean, you're a linebacker, so you're tackling people. I mean, is it every single time is it stinging, or are you just sometimes not even thinking about it?
Yeah, you don't think about it, man. You just, at that point in the season, I mean, you're just callous to playing football. You know what I'm saying? And tackling is part of it. Playing linebacker, tackling is part of it. Being physical. So I mean, yeah, you don't think about it. You definitely feel it, but afterwards you're like, all right, now it's just about winning the game. You know what I mean? By any means, you're trying to win the game.
Oh yeah, I've always wondered, like, I mean, because if you go outside and you're just doing something around your house in the cold, like, you just bump into something, you're like, oh God, like, it's cold out here, that hurts. I've always wondered, like, if the adrenaline kind of cancels it out or not. So
Yeah, yeah, the whole adrenaline. Then you have a purpose now, man. You're trying to win a game. There's something on the line, and uh, none of that matters. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like,
well, it's
or
probably
none of
like
that shit.
get out there and get your first tackle. It probably like you're so pumped up, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's with anything. That's even if it ain't cold or not. You're just trying to get that first contact to kind of break you into what the game is gonna be like, and then you feel better after that. But yeah, when it's cold, man, it's like, ooh,
It's
let's figure it out.
bitter. It's bitter.
Who was the coach? Was it Mark Trestman or was it John Fox at that point?
John Fox.
John Fox. Okay, I thought it was either one of the two. That's a good
Yeah,
coach to be
yeah,
under too. Like he's so defense, he knows what's going on.
yeah. It was him, and then Vic Fangio, man, who was a genius at the game of football, man. Who the head coach of the Denver Broncos now, rightfully so, because he knows the game of football in its totality. So I mean, good for him. And then so learning under him was even great for me because um, in college I ran the same system, but now in the NFL you get a guy who's like can teach you a little bit more about the system, about the game of football, playing defense, certain decisions that you can make in a game that can help affect it, like just different perspective on it.
You know, if you get like picked up by the Bears, like they're gonna have a good defense. That's what they're all about. Like pretty much the whole history of the franchise.
Yeah, man, that's the tradition of Chicago Bears
I can't believe
is playing good defense.
you had to like get in there basically at middle linebacker like your first start. And, like Brian Urlacher was just there the year before. You're kind of trying to replace him. That's crazy.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, man. But yeah, that was. I wasn't even thinking about that though. Now that I think about it, it's like, damn, that is crazy.
So what did you think? Did you have both your fumble recoveries? I think we saw you had both of them in the same game,
The
wasn't it?
Tampa game, I think, right?
What was that?
Your fumble recoveries, like didn't you get both of them in the
Yeah,
same game?
that was the next game after the Minnesota.
Oh, okay, so it was your second game.
Yeah, it was the second game. We were playing in Tampa.
I mean, what? I
Um,
mean, how did that had to feel amazing?
yeah, oh man, the first one was kind of luck. Safety made a great play. Harold, you just had a good contact on the ball. Came loose, and I just happened to be there. I was like, hey man. Then I thought about it, I was like, man, you could have picked that up and hopefully got some yards or something. I was like, nah, this is the first one, just
Fall
get
on
down
it.
and
Fall on it.
yeah, fall on that. We ended up winning the game anyways. The second one was pretty, like, it was one he had to work for. The dude fumbled in the pile. A lot of people were fighting for him before I even got there, and I looked as like there was a crease to get in the middle of the pile. I was like, man, let me get in there. And I seen the ball just loose without anybody even grabbing it. I was just jumped in there, kind of try to snatch it away from whoever's hands I felt like were like, on the way to trying to grasp hold of the ball. Took it out and just kind of squirted my body out of there and just took off like, hey man, it's mine. You know what I mean?
I mean, what? So I mean, you dove in on the pile. I mean, what's it? That's another thing I've always wondered. What's it like whenever you're
You
diving in
keep
a
hearing all
pile?
these crazy rumors. You don't know what's going on under the piles, and we wouldn't mind hearing.
Yeah, man, it's dirty down there, man. Football. That's why. That's why That's why the game of football is named football, man. It's the most important thing. And so when the ball's on the floor like that, man, it's by any means necessary. You know what I mean, to gain possession of it. So in a pile like that, where refs don't really have a good view about what's going on, it's a lot of things that can go on. Fortunately for me, haven't really like experienced none of that. So usually when I fall and there's a huddle like or a big pile, I try to get up out of there as soon as possible.
And how did because we watched your little mic'd up thing. Like, how did that go?
Which one?
The game that they had you mic'd up.
Oh, Green Bay. That was I think the next year. Yeah, that game was. If I can remember, that game was much colder than the Minnesota game.
Did they just ask you if you wanted to do it? That's pretty cool.
Nah, it was more like, "Hey, man, you're mic'd up."
Oh,
So,
okay. I didn't know how that goes.
uh, yeah, I was like, oh, "Okay, let's go."
Where's the microphone at?
It's like on the shoulder pads, right in the front.
Does
There's a
somebody
lot of
does
tape
somebody like
for it.
come in and like wire you up or like
Yeah, I think they do it the day before or the day in the morning and tape you up and all that.
do you just kind of forget about it as the day goes on?
I mean, they told me like couple days before the game, and I was like, all right, cool. I don't even remember until they reminded me on the day of the game.
Were you
Yeah,
playing against Aaron Rodgers? He probably started.
yeah. I started that game. It was the same situation. It was like end of the season. Obviously, but this one was like uh, guys were injured, and then we one of the other linebackers he was suspended for field drug test, and so I was the last one left. So I started that game. I started 3 games as well because the injuries and suspension. That game was very cold. I can remember that game. Like, thankfully, it was a 12 o'clock game. But yeah, man, Aaron Rodgers, who's probably the most talented quarterback I've seen ever, highlights and now, you know what I mean, from guys before. So that game was pretty cool, man. It was just the dude can make he can make every throw, man. It doesn't matter how tight your coverage is. If the ball's in the air, the dude he'll find a way to throw them open. So
Was he probably
he's
the
tough to
toughest
play
quarterback
against,
to
man.
prepare for it?
Um, I haven't played them all. I mean, I only started like 9 games in total. Uh, but I can see why he can be though, because of the talent. The talent is there, man. He can make every throw, and that's why it's tough to to prepare for him. But uh, he just didn't have luck with the O line being healthy, so a lot of teams took advantage of that.
Is film study that week pretty hard? Like you're thinking the whole week you're like, man, I gotta play Aaron Rodgers, a guy who's arguably the best quarterback to ever do this. Is film study like pretty
Yeah,
intense that week?
yeah, man. That's probably the most intense part about it, man. The game is, they always say they give those numbers of the game being 90 whatever percent mental, 6%, which is mostly true. Um, but yeah, it's definitely a test. The classroom is where you got to actually win the game of football if you want to win it on the field. They give you all the answers, man. And that's why guys are able to play as fast as they can, or guys look faster than the other guys because of preparation. That's why to the playoff games, you look at the Patriots who just dominate the details. So that I mean, and film study is a huge part of that.
Yeah, they were kind of not related, but kind of is. Like we were talking last night when just on the topic of film study. Like we were talking about Patrick Mahomes, his interview last week. He was talking about how the defense, the first time he played the Patriots earlier this year, he said they went back and started like rewatching film, and he was getting looks that they hadn't ran in like 6 years or 7 years. And he was like,
Yeah,
man,
man.
he was like, man, we had to like go back 6 or 7 years worth of film to find the looks they were giving us.
Yeah,
That's crazy. That's insane.
I'm like a fan. I would never be able to like know that. Like
Yeah,
nobody,
yeah,
you can never understand that.
yeah, not at all, man. That's why teams kind of hate the Patriots because it's so boring at whatever they do. But
it's a science.
li- yeah, man, it's the little things that they dominated. The results are freaking awesome. I mean, 9 Super Bowls appearance and whatever long, but that's how it is. That's how the game is won, though, in the film study. Because I mean, if a guy tells you he's nervous or whatever, man, you got to be very worried about him, man. You know what I'm saying? Because he ain't ready. Most of that is because lack of preparation.
Yeah. So,
You know what I mean?
just like a personal question, the only personal question I had for today was, uh, like I said at the beginning, we're from North Carolina, so we see every week we get the Panthers games every week. I don't know how much you get to see him, but like whenever you see a guy like Luke Kuechly, who's regarded as one of the best in the league today, like what do you think about whenever you see a guy like that?
Yeah, man. You
Coming
see a
from
guy like
someone who's
that.
coming from someone who's played the same position, you know.
Yeah, yeah. He's I thought he could play in the league for a very, very long time. Had not been for the concussions
Yeah,
because of the way he prepares. I mean, it's not just himself personally, but where he puts his teammates in position. I mean, if you can watch him pre-snap, tell him, hey, this is about to happen.
yeah,
You know what I mean? To
yeah,
make
that's kind of
sure
what I
that
meant. Yeah,
yeah, and it's not like every now and then. It's like every play. Like, hey, look, this about to come here. Hey, let's make these checks. You know what I mean? Just put his team in the best position based on the game plan to help. And it's like, dude is just dominating the game. Now, if he wasn't been, with the concussions and all, his career could be much longer than what he's thinking right now.
yeah. We laugh because he'll be grabbing like he'll be running up and he'll be like grabbing linemen and like pulling them over and he's like, no, you're lined up in the wrong spot. While he's like at the same time he's doing the same thing with like a veteran like Thomas Davis. He's like we've seen him like grab Thomas Davis and like move him over here, be like, dude, you're supposed to be right here. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, man. Just yeah. He's killing it, man. I think that's the same thing with with the Brady Belichick,
Yeah,
and then you got like Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes where they have like Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, they got the coach to player
relationship.
relationship. You know what I mean? And the player is hella good, very good. He can ball, he can sling the ball, he can make every throw that you want. Plus, he got the no looks, the sidearms, all that, and he can dominate. The system, the concepts. Whereas Belichick and Brady is coach to player, but Brady is a coach as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
these
not only does Belichick, he got his way, his system of thinking, how things operate, but Brady on the field is a hell of a player, a great player, probably the greatest quarterback of all time, and then who as well can be the coach. You know what I mean? As far as what he sees, like in game adjustments, in play adjustments, pre-snap, post snap, how he talks to people. So that, and with that, he'll have the edge in every game based on that. You know what I'm saying?
it,
Whereas even and then so you go to Luke Kuechly where most linebackers they're just I don't say most linebackers, but a lot of them there obviously you got to be well prepared and knowing where you got to be, where your teammates got to be, the coverage, the check. But you see a lot of guys who are just physically gifted, where he's like where Belichick Brady has that relationship player to coach, but he's a coach on the field as well. He knows what's about to go on. He remembers the game plan. He remembers the tendencies. He remembers probably like the shifts and motions, the percentages of, motions happening, what happens after motions, little things like that. And so that's why you see him always communicating. That's why I mean, aside from him, getting concussions from the tackles, making tackles and stuff, but he's rarely taking on blocks because he know where he's got to be. He knows what's about to happen. He's there before blocks even occur. So he's always had like 100 some tackles every game or every season.
yeah, I've always wondered like what other people in his position think about him. Somebody just watch you're able to watch it like he's just not too much older than you. Just watching something like that is crazy.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. And then you look at the guys who left him, AJ Klein, who's got a lot of money because he's been around Luke Kuechly. Obviously, he balled on
So, yeah, he
special
definitely
teams.
did.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? He was backing up Luke Kuechly every time the guy went to New Orleans Saints.
Now he's
They
like
give him a lot of
their
money.
best linebacker.
Yeah, they give him a lot of money for it. You know what I'm
I got one other
saying?
question too. Kind of speaking of the Panthers linebackers, I think you went to school with Shaq Thompson at the same time, right?
Yeah, baller. Yep.
Yeah, I
That
just wanted to
dude.
hear. I didn't know if you had a cool story about him. I kind of wanted to hear anything you got about Shaq Thompson.
Nah, I ain't really got I ain't really got no like crazy story. I mean, we can't get it all the time when we was in college, but that's my boy, man.
Freak
He was
athlete.
gifted. Yeah, he just but he worked hard, man. Like, just the little things, you know what I mean? Just because he was converted safety and he took that mindset of coverage, and then the type of safety he was downhill, bang bang.
And they even use him as a nickel sometimes. Like he'll drop back in coverage like a safety or a corner.
Yeah, and that's why he'll be getting paid a lot of money if the
Oh, you know
Panthers
he's about to get
keep him.
paid.
Yeah, No doubt, man.
Did,
As he should be, as he should be, because it's like, what does he do for your team? You know what I mean?
a
It's not.
lot.
It's not like you can. Yeah, you can't just draft somebody or grab somebody from free agent and bring in what he does.
No way, no
And
way. I
he's
think
at
that's one reason they kind of didn't want to re-sign Thomas Davis because they know they have to pay him here soon, and that's gonna be like,
Yeah,
and you're
yeah,
paying
man.
Luke, you can't be paying every linebacker a fat contract.
Yeah, man. No doubt, man. And Thomas Davis is a hell of a player, but Shaq is on the rise. He's balling. He can rush. He can cover.
got so many
He's
years
great.
left.
Yeah, he's
Thomas
great in
Davis is
space.
like as legendary as you get, but I think they got to go with the younger one.
Yeah, no doubt,
He's like the
man.
best
No
Panther
doubt.
ever, arguably, like on defense at least. But
For
yeah,
sure,
I
man.
think Shaq Thompson, I think he's like our guy.
Yeah, he's definitely going to emerge as, I don't want to say the next Thomas Davis because they play completely different. But this what he does, not a lot of linebackers can do
Nah, didn't
at all.
didn't they
And
didn't they move
yeah,
him to running back a couple times in college, like once or twice?
yeah, man, he was that much of a baller. He played a couple times, got a couple 100-yard games.
That's insane.
And I understand how he didn't win the Heisman, but yeah, it is what it
He like
is.
broke off like a 90-yard touchdown or like an 85-yard touchdown one time at running back.
Yeah, it was like something like that.
It was long. It was super long. It was like almost the whole
Yeah,
field.
yeah, man. He's fast. He can cover.
He can
He can tackle.
lay the lumber.
Yeah, man.
And then
He
who was some other guys
he,
that I meant to? Oh wait, if you had something else, sorry.
no, you good. You good.
I was gonna. I remember I was looking and there are a few other guys that I was meant to ask you about, but I can't really remember who they were. Like there's some other. It sounds like you had a pretty good roster or a pretty loaded team at college.
Yeah, man. Had Oli Kikaha, Danny Shelton, Marcus Peters.
That was it right
Just a few.
there.
Marcus Peters.
Yeah,
I figured that's why I said his name
that
last.
dude's crazy.
Nah, I mean he's crazy because y'all only catch a glimpse of the highlights that they record. But if you just chilling with him, you cool with him, man. He probably just down to earth as anybody else.
He's a hell of a player.
That dude's he's scrappy.
Yeah,
Dude. He can cover anybody.
yeah, man. He's a baller, but people don't understand how smart he was at the game of football. That's why he's good at what he does.
Yeah, it's almost. I don't want to use this word, but it's annoying when people don't realize like how smart you got to be as an athlete to play at the pro level,
Yeah,
especially in the NFL. You know, these
yeah,
it's so annoying to hear people say like, "Oh, all you do is run fast, jump high, and carry a football." Like, nah, it's much more than that. It's so much
yeah.
more than
Nah,
that.
man. This dude, yeah, he don't get enough credit for how much the football knowledge that he understands, and then not to just the football knowledge, but what he can do. You know what I'm saying? Like he got long arms, he can run. Um, he can run with anybody because of his length. But he takes advantage of it, and then he understands leverage. He understands concepts, spacing of wide receivers, splits. So he understands all that, man. But he not get credit for that, man, because people think he's just this crazy dude who just be talking shit.
That's why I like him actually. But yeah, I think you like match that with like everything you just said, and it's like that's what you want in a corner.
Yeah, for sure, man. Hell yeah, you want somebody like that on your team. I
Absolutely,
mean,
you got to have
and
that guy who can get in their heads.
I
And
like
then,
I like the corners that have a little attitude, like have like because I mean the receivers are gonna get like if you can get in their head a little bit, I think it always is like a good idea.
yeah, and it fires you up. And some of that, sometimes people get just irritated by it. But if he's on your team, I mean, it is what it is.
that's right. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, man, we don't want to hold up too much of your time today. We appreciate your time. Last question: Super Bowl prediction. Who you got?
Oh man, I don't even know honestly. Uh, I'm really from both teams, man. I have boys on both teams. Danny Shelton's with the Patriots. Corey Littleton and Marcus Peters is with the Rams. So
It's gonna be a
for
good
me,
game.
yeah, I don't care. But if I was in analytics, all those genius, I would say the Patriots had an edge because obviously who the quarterback is, who the coaching staff, and what they got going on.
Yeah, that's
But
kind of what we talked about last
Yeah,
night.
that's not who I want to. I want to see the Rams do it, but I think the Patriots.
yeah, yeah, it's just I want to say it's hard to bet against the Patriots, but they're their preparation is crazy, man. It's unbelievable,
They've done
man.
it
To where,
so many times.
yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, what more evidence do you need?
Yeah, exactly. That's as easy as it can be summed up
I
right
do
there.
think if Aaron Donald and Dominican Sue just go off and they just like disrupt the whole pocket, the whole game, like if it turns into one of those type of games, I think they could definitely do it though.
Yeah, no doubt. But then if you watch when they played against the Saints, you see they changed up the snap counts. They was going up tempo, man. So it's kind of slowed up the rush. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
Yeah, they had some crazy block for like they were like doubling guys and doing a lot of in motion stuff.
yeah, you know what I mean. The protection was slid different ways at different times, and so it's hard to kind of get a beat on it. That's why it was hard to see Arizona kind of go at it. But
And the Patriots are the masters of that.
yeah, and yeah, it's just I'm not saying I'm rooting for the. I don't know, man.
We're just asking for we're having you pick for correctness, not feelings.
Yeah, man. So I'm rooting for both guys, both teams, man. Just to see one of those guys hold up a trophy, that's cool, man.
Yeah, it's always cool to know that somebody actually was won a Super Bowl. That's pretty cool.
I got one more thing for you.
Yeah,
I forgot to ask
hell
this
yeah,
earlier.
man. Hell yeah. And then after the Super Bowl, they get paid a lot of money. So
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
some playoff bonuses.
yeah, that and in free agency. So
I got one more thing. I kind of forgot to ask you earlier. I don't know who
yeah,
this
you
would
good?
be because you said you tackled Adrian Peterson, so I don't really know. But I always like to ask like guys that play on defense who's like toughest guy to tackle.
Oh, so yes. Yeah. I mean, I would say AP, man. The only reason why I said that because it was cold as hell too. So he was coming downhill. You know,
He's a big boy.
yeah, he's a beast, man, and he runs angry. You can hear it when he runs.
Can you really?
You know what I mean? It was that powerful.
Dang, that's insane.
Yeah.
All right,
was
man.
big.
We don't want to take up your whole Monday. We appreciate the time.
Thanks
It means
for
a
talking
lot.
to us early on a Monday at 10 a.m.
Nah, it's all good. Appreciate you guys, man.
Yeah,
Hope
man.
everything, just continues to go up for you guys.
Yeah, man. We wish you the best of luck in the future. Hope everything works out for you. And like I said, man, appreciate the time.
Yeah, man.
All right,
Appreciate you guys. Have a good one, man.
Thanks, bud.